Police in Kumasi say they're picking up possible leads to help them bring to book armed men on motorbike who robbed, shot and killed a caretaker of the Bantama Seventh-day Adventist Church in broad daylight. Mark Amofa was returning from the bank in the afternoon when the assailant on two unregistered motorbikes attacked him. They took away 4,300 cedis at the church entrance before shooting him dead. Ohime Terry of our security desk has been speaking to the police in the Ashanti region, and Ohime is standing by with the information he has put together. But take a look at this report that Ohime filed last night.
Even the presence of students of nearby Adventist Senior High School and a security man on campus could scare the robbers. Shout for help by the father of three is believed to have angered the robbers, who shot him at close range. Motorists refused to convey wounded Mr. Amofa to nearby Konfanochi Hospital amid profuse bleeding. When eventually he was taken to the hospital, doctors pronounced him dead a few minutes on arrival. An eyewitness who spoke on condition of anonymity tells JoyNews the robbers trailed the deceased from a Report Junction branch of EcoBank, where he had withdrawn the money.
Awia donko sabe na school for na pon a ombe kofie enti yo ha na yati se bibia gi pau di yina adwene se bia ka bi na ne koba apae e be pie no na se enipa da sani na oda ye hwe na obi a yeni no a yeni ya na wo adwuma a oye bantama asora safba na fe oda mojam no akọ bank aye akọ bank wo apojation and metro must be anyone. I could just cry out the baby asorajuma. And as I confirm for so a no, or the moto, a who a beyond so a job to be no, no many be a home. Into a becanushe, Pilaya, Egina, or Mijama Caseo. I want to omit Giscano, or Miss Calviano. Anna, or James of Cronfo. Anna, dear, or Gina, or Nimoto and Bano, as well as Bontume ko no tutu e bo no enti obobuhwe hase no moje tu no ye jata zibia obi ambese obefa na moje renti na fe asor ka no e fa no ne ko ko no chi ne bo mpasi ya mebu abia ko benya hoden so awia no be donko ne fa no e tinka say wanya media.
Officers from Swami Divisional Command have visited the scene twice as part of investigations. JoyNews sources say statements will be taken from key eyewitnesses while search begins in earnest for the culprits. From Kumasi, Ohime Terry reporting.
That's the report Ohime filed for us from the region last night. Ohime joins me right now live from Kumasi. He's been speaking to police officers working this story. Ohime, what more do we know?
Thank you, Gifty. The Ashanti Regional Police Command says it is not resting on its oars as far as this case is concerned. The command has promised to do everything possible within its might to track the perpetrators who committed the act in broad daylight, killing the man. Police say this was without any provocation. This is not an instance where somebody resisted a robbery attempt, but the robbers have succeeded in robbing the man of 4,370 Ghana cedis. This money, we are told, was meant to pay workers of the church, some of them teachers who have been working and teaching at the church preparatory school in Oshim. And because of the introduction of lockdown and then some security measures for COVID-19, the teachers have not been in school. But the church took a decision to pay them even whilst at home. So Mr. Amofa was given the check to cash the money from nearby Report Junction, which under normal circumstances would take less than 3 minutes to drive from the bank to the church. But immediately he got to the entrance of the church, he was gunned down by the assailants who had succeeded in robbing him of the money. But police say they have picked important and positive leads, though the Deputy Regional Police Commander, DCOP David Ajimajem, will not give details of how positive and details of the deals that they have picked. He says, yes, police are convinced that these leads will help them to arrest the perpetrators and bring them to book as far as this heinous crime is concerned. Gifty.
And these talks about positive leads. You indicated that they're not giving you a lot more details on it, but do they know anything at all that they can share at this point that gives at least the family some assurance that something is being done?
Yes, DCOP David Ajem says the assurance comes from the fact that immediately after the crime was committed yesterday, police team visited the scene twice from the Swami Divisional Police Command and also the crime scene management team from the regional police CID. So these are indications that the police are not resting on the matter. And secondly, he says, immediately after the incident, police reactivated its intelligence gathering mechanisms. And these mechanisms are what supports police in gathering vital information, especially on criminals believed to be involved in criminal activities like what happened at Bantama. So he wouldn't want to jump the gun, but to say that, yes, tomorrow police will meet the press and then brief the media on where they've taken investigations to as far as the arrest and then tracking the suspects are concerned. But he says they have done everything possible and they will continue to do it. And even then, he's appealing to residents, especially the general public, to also support police with information. He wouldn't want to give so much detail, but I learned that the police have taken statements already from eyewitnesses. And these eyewitness statements are key in the investigations. The statements are key because they've been able to help them identify who these suspects are. And in another breath, I learned police, even after the incident, knew who could be involved because for some time now, they have been tracking a gang of robbers who have been operating in a similar fashion in the city. So yes, police have an idea, and based on information that they say they have picked, the leads are positive, and they are sure it will help them in apprehending the suspects who were involved in yesterday's shooting and killing of Mr. Makamufa, who we are told for some time now has moved from his private residence to live with the family at the Bantama SDA church premises.
Okay, man, let's talk a bit more about this person who has been shot and killed. What do we know about him?
The leadership of the Bantama SDA church say they wouldn't want to give more information at this point in time, knowing very well that police is handling the matter. They don't want to lead police in investigations. But what I do know is that this is a man who has committed his life to the Bantama SDA church. It dates back as far back as 12 years. He has contributed to the church, served the church in several capacities. And when the time came for somebody to volunteer to support the church, for instance, somebody who can be available and readily relied on to support the church in caretaker capacity, he was available to provide this service to the church. So even when the COVID-19 emerged in Ghana and there were restrictions on movement, he's somebody who was living in Kumasi with his family, a family of 4, his wife and 3 other children. Then he decided to move to the church premises so that his movement, restriction of movement will not affect his services that will render to the church. So he came to the church premises, lived there with the family, I must say for about 3 months now that they have been living at the church premises. So yesterday's incident was a routine thing for him. He go to the bank, as part of his activities, we just go to the bank, on the orders of the church's treasurer, will go to the bank and cash checks in his possession and return to the treasurer the money that he has cashed. But it was unfortunate that yesterday probably was the last day he will be doing this. When he told the treasurer that he was going to the bank, he succeeded, went to the bank, cashed the money, 4,370 Ghana cedis, and we are told it was at the bank that the robbers trailed him. So on 2 motorbikes, 2 each on the motorbike, the robbers accosted him whilst entering the gates of the church, and one of them beckoned on him to hand over an envelope in the polythene bag to him, something he couldn't resist it, and he did. But immediately as the robbers attempted to leave the scene, then he shouted, "Armed robbers, armed robbers," and that is what angered the robbers to open fire on him, after one of them on a motorbike instructed a gentleman who collected the money from Mr. Amufa to shoot him, and he did that in the process, killing him instantly. We are told he bled profusely at the scene. So before help could reach him and the money to get him into the church's bus, it was too late again for Mr. Amufa to have survived the attack.
Ohemi, thank you very much for that detailed report there. Ohemi Interior of our security desk joined us from Kumasi, where that gruesome incident happened. Police say they are working to be able to speak to the media tomorrow on this matter and to tell us or brief the public on what they have found so far. But that's the story about, looks like 4 people on a motorbike after 4,000 cedis killing a church worker in the process.